أمر الله فإن فاءت فاصله بينهما بالعدل واقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين. Allah Almighty tells us in the Holy Quran, hence if two groups of believers fall into fighting, make peace between them, and then if one of the two continues acting wrongfully toward the other, then fight against the one that acts wrongfully until it reverts to God's commandment. And if they revert, make peace between them with justice and equity. For truly God loves those who act equitably, act fairly in giving justice, inshallah. This is verse 9 of Surah Al-Hujurat, chapter 49 of the Holy Quran. A small but very important Medina surah of the Holy Quran. And this is actually our fifth khutbah talking about this surah. As we have learned from this surah, our relationship with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam demonstrates our relationship with Allah. Our respect for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and our love for him and giving him priority alayhi salatu wasalam shows our belief in Allah and veneration for Allah. And likewise, our treatment of our Muslim brothers and sisters, wishing for them what we wish for ourselves, and putting the interests of the whole community ahead of our personal interest or our factional interest is required in Islam. How we treat Muslims and the Muslim community and Ummah shows how we treat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his Ummah. And so Allah Almighty gave us advice about spreading misinformation that could harm different people without having the facts and without having studied and researched the facts behind those things. And here today we're seeing the result of this kind of undermining of the relationships between Muslims, undermining the community and not prioritizing the good of the community over our own personal desires. And so Allah Ta'ala says, if believers, two individuals or two groups are fighting each other, and that could be by words and deeds, it doesn't necessarily have to mean by a war or killing, then make peace between them. As Muslim, we make islah, that is, we negotiate, find compromise, find a way for them to make peace and get along, inshallah. This is very important for many reasons, dealing with our aqeedah as well as our behavior. And so Imam Bukhari, among the other great imams, actually puts this hadith as one of the essential proofs for Ahl Sunnah wa Jama'ah. For Ahl Sunnah, the people of the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is, that the extremist groups, such as the Khawarij and Mu'tazila and other groups, they think that if you're a Muslim and you commit one of the kaba'ir or major sins, then you're a kafir, kufr akbar, you're outside of the Muslim ummah and community. And so this verse proves them wrong. Absolutely. That is, two groups of Muslims are fighting with each other, which is haram, a major sin. Could be killing each other, which is haram, a major sin. Yet they're both mu'minun, they're both believers. So that proves that when we fall short in our actions, we do actions which are not proper for Muslims, it doesn't make us a kafir, kufr akbar, a major kufr outside of Islam. But in fact, all of us are committing sins. Every one of us makes mistakes. None of us live up 100% to our belief. And so you can't accidentally fall out of Islam by your bad behavior. In fact, every Muslim who's committing sin is still a Muslim, inshallah ta'ala. The drunk was a Muslim. The murderer was a Muslim. A Muslim, unfortunately, who was addicted to substance like alcohol or drugs, or is violent and did things to hurt other people. The thief who was punished. The adulterer who was punished. They're still mu'minina, inshallah ta'ala, if they have even mithqala durra or mithqala habatin min al-khirdal, an atom of iman in their heart, or a mustard grain of iman in their heart. They're still believers, and this is the belief of all Ahl Sunnah. We treat every Muslim as a Muslim unless they denounce Islam and leave Islam by their own choice and volition. The Prophet ﷺ brought Al-Hasan. Al-Hasan is his grandson, his oldest grandson. Al-Hussein is the younger. And he brought him up on the minbar in front of all of the people. And he said, In ibni hada, this son of mine. So we're calling him his son. So your grandson is your son. Just like your grandfather is your father. In ibni hada, Sayyidun. He is a great leader among the Muslims. Sayyidun wal'ala Allahu yaslahu bihi bayna fi'atayn adimatayn min al-Muslimin. And Allah Almighty, inshallah, is going to use him to make peace and reconciliation among two great parties among the Muslims. And this is what happened to Imam al-Hasan. And Imam al-Hasan is when his father, Ali ibn Abi Talib, was the fourth Khalifa of Islam, and disputes arose and divided the Muslims. And at Siffin, he was in a great and bloody battle with Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And both sides had people who were Sahaba. And all the ones who are not Sahaba are Kabar Tabi'in, the highest level of the followers, the second generation of Islam. And divided between the people of Iraq, because Ali ibn Abi Talib moved from Medina to Kufa. And the people of Sham, because Muawiyah was in Damascus. And both of them loved him. The people of Syria loved Muawiyah as a just ruler representing the highest principle of Islam. They loved him. And the people of Iraq loved Ali ibn Abi Talib. But among the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib were extremists. They want to kill everybody who isn't following and obeying Ali. But when the battle became very bloody, and Muawiyah sought to have a peace treaty, Ali agreed to negotiate peace. And so the extremists among the followers of Ali, we call them the Khawarij, because they left Islam like the arrow from the bow, as the Prophet ﷺ said. They're extreme in their prayer, in their fasting, everything about them absolute. But they leave Islam because they said, before they're ready to kill Muawiyah for the sake of Ali, but now Ali wanted to make peace among the Muslims, they murdered him. This is the extremists who go from loving you more than anyone, they love Ali more than any human being, to hating him and killing him. A huge tragedy, and people don't think about that because the similar things happen today continuously. And so now the people went to make bay'ah to Al-Hasan. And Hasan went and made peace with Muawiyah. And he stepped down from any authority or power of the Khilafah in favor of Muawiyah, to make peace among the Muslims. And this was predicted by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ on the minbar. Peace and blessing be upon him. And so the greatest honor for the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he would make peace among people, sacrificing his own leadership and authority to save the lives of thousands and thousands of Muslims. Today, the so-called leaders will sacrifice the thousands or millions of Muslims to save themselves. But the real leaders will sacrifice themselves. They don't want power. They don't want authority. They want peace and justice among human beings. So Allah told us, إن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله. But then if one of these two groups goes on continually acting wrongly and unjustly, then you use all of your might and authority against them to bring them back, to revert them or bring them back to Allah's commandments. And Allah's commandment is peace and justice and fairness among Muslims. So today, if my group is against your group, no matter what, I'm going to be on my side. Everybody on your side, we don't care. They can all die. Nobody cares. Nobody thinks about the good of the whole. Only my group must win. My group must take power. Otherwise, there's no hope and no good for the Muslim Ummah. The Prophet ﷺ didn't tell us that Muslims don't ever fight each other or disagree, or that Muslims are always just and fair and they're never wrong, they're never in the wrong. But he said, "Ansur akhaka zaliman aw mazluma." Help your brother, whether they're the oppressor or the oppressed, the victim. And this was the belief of the Arabs before Islam, from Jahiliyyah. The literal words which the Prophet is saying. That is, my brother, even if he's wrong, I'm going to be on his side. My cousin, as they used to say, me and my tribe against the other tribe. Me and my cousin against my tribe. Me and my brother against my cousin. Whoever is the closest to me, I'm on their side, no matter what. I don't care. So, of course, the Sahaba know Islam. And so they questioned the Prophet, how is it? How is it I can make nusra? هذا ننصره مظلوما. We would help him because he's oppressed, he's a victim. فكيف ننصره ظالما? How is it we can help him? How can we assist him or be on his side when he is the oppressor, the wrongdoer? The Prophet said, تمنعوه من الظلم فذاك نصرك إياه. Stop him from oppression. Stop him from doing bad. That's how you help him. So when my side, my group are wrong, I'm on the side of justice and fairness, not on the side of my group or my relative or even my father or my brother, shaqiq, my brother from my father. But I'm on the side of what's right. Always, inshallah ta'ala. This, of course, in Bukhari and Muslim. The Ansar, Al-Aws al-Khazraj, they had been fighting each other before Islam for generations, generational conflict. And it was easy for the munafiq, the hypocrite, to remind them, and they will start fighting. They weren't fighting, they weren't killing each other with the sword, but they were slapping and punching and take off their shoe and hit the other guy with his shoe and grab a stick and hit them with a stick. The fighting became from words to deeds. So imagine the person is hitting a Sahabi. Is this kabira min al-kabair? Isn't that a major sin? Imagine if you would take your shoe off and hit Sahabi with it. What would be your hope? So there's nothing worse. But this is because they're human beings, and shaitan can bring the strength, revive the fire in the hearts of human beings. And so, also in Bukhari and Muslim, this is the immediate cause why this verse was revealed, that we must make peace between the two groups. So one of them was married, one from Al-Aus was married to a wife from Khazraj. And he was not treating her well, and he would not allow her family, his in-laws, to see his wife. Wallahi, this happened in our own community many times. They said, I'm the man, I don't want my wife to hang out with her sister-in-law, her sister, or her mother, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so then the other family comes to fight them. The in-laws come to fight on behalf of their daughter. And eventually, then it'll be the whole family and the whole tribe, one against the other. It starts out as an individual gripe, then it moves to one group toward the other, and then one nation toward the other nation. And that's the reality of this dunya in which we live. فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا بِالْعَدْلِ وَاقْسِطُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. If they come back to peace, then negotiate with a peace treaty or agreement between them with justice and fairness. For Allah loves what is just and fair. So we are expected as Muslims, we're expected as community members of a diverse community, as well as nations among the Ummah, to try to compose the quarrel, to sit down and find a way to work out our problems. What's the sin? The sin if we don't try to solve our problems with justice and fairness. And the problem today is having respected, neutral leaders who will judge against their own people because their people are wrong, and will judge for the other side because they are right. And so we have no faith in that kind of leaders on the level of the nations and ummah, and therefore there's no hope until we have neutral fairness and justice to solve any problem at all between us. Lack of confidence in the fairness and equity of our leaders. There is ideally, Islam is always perfect justice and fairness because it means respect for the highest principle. So if you and I got a problem, how we solve our problem shows how much respect we have for the Muslim Ummah, how much respect we have for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how we treat each other every time. So are we waiting for a Muslim Ummah where we always agree? That's not ever going to happen. But when we disagree, our behavior shows our love of Allah and love of Allah's Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. The Prophet said, إِنَّ الْمُقْسَطِينَ فِي الدُّنْيَا عَلَى مَنَابِرٍ مِّن لُؤْلُؤٍ. The people who are practicing justice and fairness in this world, in this dunya, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day of resurrection, they will be on mimbar, like a raised up throne, a raised up chair of pearls, pearlescent, as they will call it. And in another version, min nurin, for mimbar of light. So there's no difference if it's made of pearl and it's also reflecting beautiful light. And Allah knows best. Before Allah Ta'ala or al-Yamin, on the right of Allah Ta'ala, by doing justice in this world to your family and your community and whoever is under your authority, you will be in the highest imaginable position on Yawm al-Qiyamah, insha'Allah. The Prophet ﷺ commanded us to establish justice and fairness between ourselves. We prefer to think of the theoretical political situation and blame on that level, and we forget our own level where we're working at. So if I treat the Arab differently than the non-Arab, or if I treat the black person differently than the white person, then I should forget about solving the problem of the ummah. I can't even solve my own personal sickness and problem. Allah said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. The believers, people of faith, are only brethren. It doesn't matter whether they're male or female. We're all brothers and sisters. So make peace between your brothers and have taqwa, consciousness of Allah, so that you will receive the rahmah, the mercy of Allah. Muslim brotherhood is the greatest social goal, ideal of Islam. The Prophet's farewell sermon from Hajjat Wada, the farewell pilgrimage of the Prophet ﷺ, was based on this brotherhood and unity. And the Prophet ﷺ, al-mathal, or the parable or example of tawadihi, the mutual love of the believers for each other. Their tawasid, their maintaining ties with one another, not cutting each other off. The tarahum, the mutual mercy and forgiveness of each other. All of that as if they were one organ, one body, each organ of the body, jasadun wahid, one body. Each organ will suffer if any part of the body is suffering. We all suffer. And as bunyan, yashuddu ba'dahu ba'dan. Each constituent part of the building, each brick in the wall, or khashaba or wood of the wall, each part is strengthening the other. That is our Muslim unity according to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mu'minu bayna, يعني منزلة المؤمن بين أهل الإيمان بمنزلة الرأس في الجسد." The position of an individual believer, any one of us, to the whole people of Iman, people of faith, is like the head to the body. And this is so amazing. So if you step on a sharp thorn, where do you feel the pain? Are you feeling it in your foot? You're feeling it in your head. How did the Prophet ﷺ know that when you suffer any pain, the nerve is going up your spinal cord into your brain. You're feeling in your brain, not in your foot. Your brain is telling you, oh, your foot has pain. And so the Prophet ﷺ, this is part of the ijaz al-ilmi, the kind of scientific miracles of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. That you as a Muslim, in your brain you feel the pain. It doesn't matter if it's in Gaza, or if it's in Turkestan, or if it's in Burma, wherever it is. If it's a poor mom with kids here in America, you feel the pain in your brain, in your mind. Because you're connected like the nerves, connect the entire body. So from your brain, you're connected to everyone else. And so you feel their pain. And then you form the niyyah or intention to do what you can do for justice and fairness in the Muslim Ummah. By making peace with each other, negotiating, compromising between different groups of people. We realize the rahmah, the mercy and grace of Allah Ta'ala in dunya, and we achieve the highest throne of light and pearlescence in the world to come, insha'Allah Ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. Alhamdulillah. We praise Allah Ta'ala and thank Him and we ask for his blessing and peace upon his Prophet, our Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tonight we have our family night after the Maghrib prayer, so 8:20 inshallah, and we will have Dr. Basir Tinawi talking about raising Muslim children inshallah ta'ala. That's at 8:20 p.m. this evening, Dr. Basir Tinawi. Tuesday night we have our halaqah and Islamic jurisprudence, 7:15 p.m. inshallah. So it's always 1 hour, a little bit more than 1 hour before the Isha or the Maghrib prayer inshallah. Wednesday we have women's class with Sister Umayma, 6:30 p.m. in the classroom area inshallah ta'ala. The 2024 summer camp is for children between 3 and 13. That's Monday through Thursday, June 10th through August 15th, inshallah. And you can sign your kids up. There are a few places left, so you should sign them up right away, inshallah, for the ICBA summer camp. And finally, the senior group is having June 1st, Saturday, potluck meeting, and it's about technology, and bring your questions about using technology, such as cell phones or laptops or whatever you have, and our great expert, inshallah, will be there to help us, inshallah, and it's a potluck dinner on Saturday, June 1st. And finally, we have we're sponsor a group for Habitat for Humanity. So Habitat for Humanity helps people who are of lower income to be able to afford to have their own house. And they help people of different religions, and several Muslims have gotten houses through Habitat for Humanity. And so we help build those houses, inshallah. So they want volunteers for May 30th, June 1st, or July 13th. And so you can submit your information in the office, inshallah, and participate in that program, inshallah. وصلوا على نبيكم نبي الهدى ورحمة كما أمركم الله بقوله تعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ورسولك محمد وارض اللهم عن الخلفاء الراشدين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن الصحابة أجمعين والتابعين وعنا معهم بعفوك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصرهم في غزة وفلسطين وفي كل مكان يا رب العالمين ولا تسلط علينا وعليهم بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب لدعوات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على النعم يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون